Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I've got my voice back, pretty much, but just enough to show you today's antique junk journal. This is the last Halloween journal of 2025. I was able to go through all of my ephemera and scoop up enough ephemera to put together one more antique junk journal where every single page and every single pocket is filled with Halloween themed ephemera, and there are really some cool things in here. So starting with this that I got yesterday at an antique market that I am thrilled about is a rare Halloween antique postcard. This one here is from the early 1900s. It was never sent, but look at this wonderful little child here in a clown costume, and you can see on the lantern there it says Halloween greetings. It is spectacular. I love it. And I used my 1940s photo corners here, my vintage photo corners. I try to stay as true to my only use it antique and vintage products as possible. The cover of this book is actually a book that I've used quite a few times. This one's called Rosamond. It's a different publisher, so a different cover. So you could see the title under the postcard and at the side, but I just love the black edging. It's kind of gothic-y and just wonderful. So let me show you the inside of this junk journal and all of the fun things in here and some new things you've never seen before. So this came out of that wonderful child's word game, and I put have fun because that's what Halloween is. Now this here, who can guess what this is? And let me tell you, this is so rare that I could not find it anywhere in my Google searches, like, excuse me, nowhere. Have you got an idea yet? This is, let me show you. I got this at an antique sale, and look at this. Can you see all of that? This is a box filled with meta lace fasteners. So let me show you this antique boot that I have. This is from the 1800s, and you would have put these metal clips into the holes instead of laces. No more broken laces. So yeah, that is, I pulled this one out because it's orange and black. How great is that? And it kind of reminded me of a witch's boot, you know? So yeah, I just thought that was amazing. Look at how great this is. So you're gonna see a lot of these in my journals because there's over 100 of them in here. I'm gobsmacked at that. So anyways, here is the front page of a vintage book called Book of Sorcerers and Spells. That's about a 70-year-old book. And then this is from, oh dear, a 1937 diary, 5-year diary page, and it's the October 31st page. And I just put in this vintage postcard from the 60s in here because it is a country road, sort of like where maybe the headless horseman would have ridden his horse in the fall. And I just think it's really cool. And beside that, another kind of spooky fall tree there from a children's book. And this here is from 1925. We've got the making costumes page down here. Just adorable. And then speaking of costumes, this is a vintage Butter-It costume to make a child's pumpkin Halloween costume. And it's so sweet. I just love that. And this is another one of these great handmade coasters from a canning jar seal. And this is from 1927, the latchkey from my book series. But look at that. They're sitting in the cemeteries telling stories. Ooh. This is from 1950. It is a postcard. Whoopsie, sorry. Postcard, and this one is the American Crow, because you get lots of crows and ravens in our Halloween stories. And this here is a story also from 1956 from my book house, and we've got this gentleman here in a pumpkin patch. And this I fussy cutted out of a Mammals of North America book. That's the bats, of course. And here is another exquisite Halloween, rare Halloween postcard, also never used. I believe it was from the same series. And look at how great that is. May your Halloween be merry. Hit or miss my fortunes in this. And she is bobbing for apples. I like how they're hanging from strings there. And then this is from the 5-year diary. Sorry, no, I'm a liar. That is from my 1951 yearbook diary here. And I pulled the October 31st page out of that as well. So 2 October 31st diary pages. This is really fun. This is from a vintage book here. On this side, it's a little cartoon, and on this side, it is all about Halloween and the bears carving pumpkins and collecting apples. So that is just a fun Halloween piece there. Got an owl here from an antique book. And this is a little page from the 30s. Really great artwork, and have to have a black cat, right? So I put some antique paper on the back of that as well. Here's a vintage song, a Halloween song. And here is another page from the Mammals of North America book, and we've got the bats there. Wow, if you don't like bats, you can remove these, but I just think they're nice and creepy and Halloweeny, and there's one there as well, and that one's from the 20s. This is a piece of needlework, and I think that these look like pumpkins. I've used them in my other Halloween journals. They've gone over very well. And here's another one of these orange vintage index card tabs there. And then up here, we've got this from 1956, another Through the Fairy Halls page. We've got jack-o'-lantern down here and the moon. And down here, we've got the fairies and the elves. Isn't that wonderful? And then this is a song called The Pumpkin Man. And then here we have some ghosts from the My Book House series again, also from 1956. And this is, look at how great that is. Over 70 years old. Isn't that wonderful? And then we've got the creepy corn stalks. All good Halloween stories come from the corn stalks. This is an antique plate here with a spooky owl on it, and I put antique paper on the back of that as well for you can journal on it. Now you have to have spiders, right, at Halloween, and this was the quintessential spider story from a children's book, Little Miss Muffet. So maybe it's not scary, but it sure did scare her, frightened her away. And there's the little black spider. And on the other side, we've got little Jack Horner. Not as scary, but still fun. And there's the rest of that. Some great Halloween images down here from the 40s. More Halloween and costumey things, make-believe things down here with the moon. This is another one of these great black and orange vintage playing cards. And this is a leather pocket here that looks very Gothic-y to me and from maybe an ancient old castle, but it's actually a couple of 100 years old, that piece of leather there from a book cover. And this antique book page is called Haunted. I believe that might be from Little Women, I forget. I gotta have a crow up here. This is a 1920s scrapbook page. Excuse me. There's another vintage owl piece here and a vintage children's book page. These two are going out for Halloween with their pumpkin hats and their masks. And in here, I chose this one because she looks frightened, as you would at Halloween when everything is so scary. And inside isn't as scary. We've got just a really fun fussy cut cow from a vintage book. That just looked a little Gothic to me, journaling card. This here also kind of old and Gothic-y. And then this is not scary at all, but I love her because she's from 1927 and I just fussy cutted her out of a catalog. Isn't that great? Lots going on there, isn't there? This is from the 1890s here, and that is, of course, bats flying about. And this I chose because it is black and orange and just really, really fun children's book page. And I'll put that back in its little pocket. And Halloween, of course, is every fall. So I chose this great Trees of America book page with the acorns and the fall oak trees there. They're a beautiful color. And this goes here. Down here is, again, an early 1900s photo from a book, and we've got these little children dressed up. It looks like maybe they're dressed up like gypsies, maybe. And this is really cool. We've got tea leaves, dream book, tarot cards, and then this is Ghosts I Have Seen. And that is from a very old book, Memoirs of a Psychic. And this is a great page from a vintage book from the 1940s. And we've got these fellas here with their masquerade masks on. You can see down here, it's a masquerade party. And then we've got a vintage scene down here. And whoopsie, We've got great little Peter Pumpkin Eater here, and that wraps around to there. And this is from 1920, Too Far in the Ha-Ha Witch, a little elf in the witch story. And then on here, I have a journaling page, but I flipped it over. If you want, you can look at the long-eared bats. It's kind of creepy, so you can glue it down if it creeps you out too much, but I thought it was fascinating. And this is a really great insert here. We've got the people here in the costumes, and these are all games that you can play. So these are Halloween games, and that is from 1933 from the Girls' Own Annual Book, another 1920 scrapbook page. And I just love this one because it looks like these guys are in costume, or they're just kind of, again, sort of goth-like, going a nuttin', and that is a fall. And then we have here Cinder Petrand, the Witchy Shoes. Right? All right, now it's all making sense. This is a piece of purple tracing paper. It's vintage as well, and I know that purple is also a Halloween color, so I had to have some purple in here. And this is another one of those great costume pattern papers, and another Birds of America vintage page on owls. And then in here, this came from a 1940s craft book page, some little things that you can draw and copy that are all Halloween themed. And then this here, Chatterbox. This is from the 1920s. And we've got just a really scary scene there in a cemetery, and a spooky guy coming out of a crypt there. Very cool. And I chose that pocket there because it is black and orange. Maybe they're waiting for kids to knock at the door for trick-or-treating. And then this here is a palmistry page, of course. And this is the Chief Justice of England. And palm reading kind of goes in with the whole fortune-telling, spooky theme. And then this is a little children's book page here. And I chose it because it's got a candy shop. And we also associate candy with Halloween. And then this is a great antique book page with a spider going into his little home there. And then on the very back page, I've got this children's book page of a girl going up the stairs of the haunted old house. And then this here is another masquerade party insert. One thing I wanted to mention is hidden in here somewhere is a picture that I got from the East Coast that is a print, and the woman who gave it to me said that it was a print of a house that they call haunted. And now that I'm going through here, I can't find it, but it's hidden pretty well. So the new owner of this journal can certainly find that wonderful print. You'll know it as soon as you see it. I just don't want to waste too many minutes on that. So you can go to my Etsy shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me a message, and happy Halloween. Bye for now.